Broken. Chapter 3. Confidence. Applejack and Twilight stood outside Rainbow Dash's room, not able to see anything through the window but a drawn curtain. The Earth Pony slumped to the floor, taking off her Stetson. Twilight sat on her haunches next to her, not looking in her direction. What had happened? Earlier, Apple Bloom had run up to her spouting something about Twilight picking up an unconscious Rainbow Dash and running towards the hospital. But when she charged into the room, the Pegasus saw Applejack, and the look on her face was that of pure fear. The doctor said something about another attack. Another attack? What attack? Why did her friend look so afraid to see her? What did she do to Dash to make her so panicked? "What happened, Twi?" asked Applejack, looking at the unicorn. Twilight didn't look at her when she replied. She had heart palpitations. "Heart what? What caused that?" "I can't tell you," Twilight said simply. Applejack frowned. "What do you mean you can't tell me?" the farm pony exclaimed, throwing a hoof up in emphasis. "Our friend had another attack when she saw me, and y'all said to trust y'all when you told me to get out. What did I do to make her so afraid of me?" "I can't tell you," Twilight repeated. "I'm sorry, but I can't say a word." At this, Applejack stood up, stamping a hoof to the floor in sudden anger. Twilight flinched and looked up at her. "Twilight Sparkle, our friend is in the hospital after weeks without water, sleeping, or eating, and now she's having heart palpitations. She's my best friend, and I need to know what's causing it." "No, you don't." Twilight stood up, bellowing back. Her voice echoed through the hallway. Applejack took a step back, her guard completely shattered. She'd never heard the bookish unicorn yell before, and it was frightening. "If I told you, Rainbow would be in much worse condition. I know you're her friend, and you're worried about her, but this is for her health. She'll tell you when she's ready, and only then." Applejack took another step backward, once again falling to the wall and inevitably to the floor. Twilight exhaled, her anger leaving her face as she took her place beside the farm pony. "I'm sorry, AJ," said the unicorn, placing an apologetic hoof on Applejack's shoulder. "Please just trust me." "Well, if me knowin's what's gonna only hurt Rainbow, I guess I can't force it." "It's for the best, AJ. Thank you for understanding." Applejack couldn't even feel curious anymore. She worried about Rainbow, but decided that she had to do nothing but trust the unicorn, regardless of how she felt. It hurt not knowing what was happening, but she knew that she had to simply wait. "I'm a mite sorry for yelling, Twi," she said finally. "But if this is what I have to do for Rainbow to get better, I'll do it, I guess." "I'm sorry, too." "So y'all gonna stay here for her?" asked the farm pony. Twilight nodded solemnly. "Yes, I'm her confidant, so I'll be here when she wakes up. I don't know how long she'll be in recovery after that. No offense." "None taken," Applejack sighed. "I guess there's no point in me staying if I'm only gonna hurt her more." Applejack stood up, Twilight following suit. The unicorn wrapped her forelegs around her neck, and the farmer returned the favor. "Just know that you didn't do anything to hurt her. None of this is your fault," whispered Twilight. "Don't worry about her. She'll be completely fine. Please, just try to keep your distance until she comes to you." "I guess I can," Applejack replied, letting her friend go before placing her hat atop her head and walking away from the door towards the exit. Rainbow Dash awoke for the second time that day, immediately looking out the window to see the sun had set. Her chest still hurt, but the heart monitor indicated her pulse was normal once again. This time it wasn't just Twilight in the room, but also Dr. Stable and, to her surprise, Scootaloo. Rainbow bucked her head against the pillow, frustrated at her weakness in front of her #1 fan. "Dash, are you okay?" asked Scootaloo with excitement, bouncing up on her right side. "Yeah, Squirt. Dash is all right," said Rainbow, patting the filly on the head. Scootaloo smiled brightly at that. Dr. Stable brushed his brown mane from his forehead, walking over to the end of her bed. Twilight stuck behind, flashing an assuring wink. She must have been implying that she never spoke a word of her secret. She smiled back. "Rainbow Dash, you gave us quite a scare there. I hope you don't mind, but this young Pegasus insisted that she see you," said Stable, indicating Scootaloo.
"No problem, Doc." Rainbow smiled weakly. "I'm feeling better with my #1 fan here."
Rainbow patted her on the head again. "Well, that's good to hear," he replied. "Although there are some things we need to discuss about your condition, alone." Twilight and Scootaloo took the hint, saying they would both be right back. Dr. Stable thanked them and closed the door. When he turned back to Rainbow, his expression wasn't as delighted as it once was. "Now, Miss Dash, I'm going to be frank with you," he started. "You had another attack, but this one really took a toll on you. Your heart beat so erratically that it tore a muscle in your chest. We had to operate immediately."
"Operate? Surgery?"
Dash exclaimed, crestfallen. "I'm afraid so. I assure you it was necessary," Stable replied, adjusting his glasses. "The muscle has been fixed, and your heartbeat is stabilized, but this means you'll be here a little longer, so we can keep an eye on you."
But I can't afford this. I couldn't afford to come here in the first place,"
Rainbow said. "You couldn't afford not to come here," Dr. Stable replied with his good old attitude. "I'm sorry, but it's what needs to happen. When you are released from the hospital, I have a few demands regarding your health. 1. Again, you are to take it easy, but after what happened, you cannot fly for a week. That muscle may have been fixed, but it needs time to heal. And 2, you need to go to Sweet Apple Acres and tell Applejack how you feel."
"What?"
"Now don't worry, no pony told me. I figured it out myself. It's obvious that she is why you're stressed, and if you keep this bottled up inside, you will have another attack. I know that I'm not a therapist, but I don't have to be one to see that your feelings for her are what's causing this. You understand?" Rainbow Dash blinked, unsure of how to respond. After a moment of silence, Dr. Stable sighed and wore a more accepting expression. "If she's really your friend, then she will accept you. I can't tell you how she feels, but know that she won't dismiss you as her friend." Rainbow looked up at Stable with a pained smile on her face.
"Thanks, Doc. I really needed that."
Once the doctor left, he let Twilight and Scootaloo back in. The orange filly bounced back over to Dash's right side, smiling brightly. Twilight simply stood back, finding a magazine and flipping through it. Rainbow Dash felt that being happy in front of the little filly would be easier now, with Stable's advice.
"So have you been, kiddo? Practicing, I hope,"
said Rainbow. Scootaloo nodded excitedly.
"Yep, I was in the air for 10 whole seconds today. Sweetie Belle bet I couldn't do it, so I had to prove her wrong. It was awesome! I even landed perfectly." "Awesome!"
Rainbow cheered with a hoof bump to the little Pegasus.
"I'll have to show you some more maneuvers pretty soon if you keep this up. You'll be doing your own sonic rainboom in a couple of years."
Scootaloo's jaw dropped and eyes widened.
"Really?"
she gasped, jittering with glee. Then she jumped up and hugged her idol.
"I won't disappoint you, Dash. I'm going to do my best."
Scootaloo looked out the window and gasped when she saw the sunset.
"Oh no, I'm supposed to be home by now. I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash, but I gotta get home," she cried. "Get going then. Fly high, Scoot,"
Rainbow cheered. The orange filly nodded and bolted out the door. Twilight looked up and laughed to herself. Rainbow felt herself laughing as well, relieved to feel even the slightest bit of happiness. Twilight took the seat to the left of the bed. "She's adorable," she commented.
"Yeah, that little filly's got a bright future ahead of her."
"How do you know?"
"'Cause she has the drive,"
Dash said matter-of-factly.
"She has the need to fly. I wouldn't waste my time with her if she didn't have it."
"But don't you think you're over-encouraging her a little bit? I mean, a sonic rainboom in a couple years? I understand being helpful, but..." Rainbow held up a hoof to stop her.
"I'm not over-encouraging her. I truly believe she can do it. She's just like I was when I was her age. Granted, the awesome Pegasus already had her cutie mark in performing the world's first sonic rainboom, but then, not every pony's as cool as me, she explained smugly. Scootaloo's a fast learner, and has the build and need for high-velocity flight. Mark my words, she'll be the second pony to perform the sonic rainboom.
Well, you seem to be feeling better, especially after surgery. Rainbow Dash's heart sank.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that,
she sighed. Rainbow tried to remove her hospital gown without overexerting herself. Twilight saw her struggling and grabbed hold of the gown to help her remove it with her teeth. Dash hadn't expected that, and felt her cheeks grow hot. Her wings twitched underneath her, but she ignored it. Twilight laughed but said nothing of it. Thankful, Dash looked down to find a long, vertical scar across her chest, stitched up under her scion coat.
Bummer,
she whispered, remembering her monetary dilemma.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of overtime to pay for this.
Twilight said nothing, but simply tried to give a reassuring smile.
Thanks for being here for me, Twi. I don't know where I'd be without you today,
Rainbow said, hugging her friend. That's why I'm here, Dash. When they broke apart, Rainbow Dash recalled her conversation with Dr. Stable. Twilight wasn't too shocked to hear the doctor was keen enough to see what had caused her stress.
What do you think, Twi? What should I do?
Asked Rainbow, almost pleadingly. I think he's right, she answered immediately. Rainbow had both felt relieved and crestfallen to hear those words. She knew it was what her heart and body absolutely needed her to do, but at the same time she was still afraid to confess her love to Applejack. You need to tell her.
Yeah, I know,
Dash sighed. Then she perked her head up.
Hey, maybe you can...
She was cut off by Twilight's disapproving glare.
Fine,